Are you ready now? Ready, I'm ready. Extraordinary. You already know. You see, it's
multi-dimensional.
Are you ready now?
All day, all night, all year long, I run my world on limitation. Focus on my meditation.
Peace and power, family. You're now multidimensionally tuned into another video. You are now super dimensionally, interdimensionally tuned into another video. A lot of the information I'll be giving in this video will be highly crucial, important, and vital for you to take on from this day to the next of the days of your life. So I urge you to hit the like button. If you never do, please do, so that this information can hit the algorithm and explode and hit more people. I've never seen anybody talking about this information. It's highly vital, fam. First things first, I want to thank Spirit for using me as a vessel to relay this very, very crucial information to the public. And I begin. First things first, fam, we must understand that we live in a matrix, right? Don't we? We do. Now, this matrix has numbers. There's a reason why gematria, numerology, astrology play a very crucial part in making us understand characteristics and behaviors of people, or rather situations and events that will occur. This is simply because we live in a simulation. I mentioned in my previous video that life is a never-ending simulation to the past. Everything works in cycles. We live in a number system. Everything has happened before. Everything will happen again. Right? But this is what I mean. There is a formula, a code to everything. Now, I want to open your mind for a bit. So sit back, relax. Make sure you're very comfortable. We've been lied to very, very much. And we've been dumbed down very, very intensely that people don't pay attention to things as simple as this. What if I told you, and I'm not trying to presume, I'm actually being very factual, I have facts. What if I told you that humans come in different, in as much as we come in the same type of bodies, we come in with different capabilities according to our generations? I never heard nobody talk about this shit, and this shit is very important. There is a reason why there is a generation Z, there is a generation Y, there is a generation X, and before that, you can call it the generation W or the generation B, also called the baby bloomers. I would explain to you what these generations mean, the facts and the basis behind how these generations were created, and the reason why these generations have different characteristics, because they do. Shit makes sense now. But the picture of the world has been constructed in such a way that we don't need to know this extra information. Just think everybody's everybody. Hey, my parents said that. Hey, everybody's like, listen. If you are born in a certain year, you are born with unique characteristics, heavily dependent on what? The constellation at which a certain planet was in. Now, we have how many planets in our solar system? Let's use my method. My very eyes may just see on the next planet, right? Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. What is it about Pluto? The last planet, the final planet, the one with the slowest revolution. It takes Pluto approximately 14 to 15 years to make a shift from one constellation to another constellation. Anytime Pluto makes a shift into another constellation, that is the birth of a new generation. And I don't care if you're born in between those 15 years to 16 years, 14, 15, 16 years, because, you know, when it's at the end, there's a cusp. So we can't be perfect with the numbers, so we have to approximate. If you're born between those 15 years or wherever it was that Pluto was, that tells you a lot about the generation you are in. Everything is a matrix. Look at iPhones. They really put this thing in our face. Generation, this iPhone, 5th generation, 6th generation. Don't you get it? Now, hold on. I bring this phone to you right now. This is an iPod 6, right? 6th generation iPod. Now, I bring a 5th generation iPod to you, and I bring a 7th generation iPod. The same damn thing, body-wise, but the processor and the AI is different. The chipsets that were used are different because it was created in a more advanced time. What am I trying to say? If you were born in the year of this is beautiful. If you were born in the year 1945 to 1960, you are a bloomer. What makes you a bloomer? You're simply a bloomer due to the fact that Pluto was making a shift from Pluto was more involved in, or was making a shift between Virgo to Libra. It came from Virgo down to Libra, from 6th house to 7th house, from the 6th constellation Virgo to Libra. Pluto represents what? Transformation, rebirth. Pay attention to those words. What does it do in the collective sense? Yo, this is exciting. Yo, this is freaking exciting. This is exciting. Big shout out to the Mercury retrograde. But this shit is exciting. Is somebody paying attention to what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep on going because I have more shit to spill. I have facts, and I'm gonna be posting all the data I have. I've taken my time to accumulate natal charts. I've gone back in time to open natal charts and look at it, so you're not gonna be lost. Everything is gonna be here as I'm speaking. But now, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that if you were born 1945 to 1960, somewhere around that time, and now what I mean by this is you might also be, now listen, I'm not using perfect numbers. I'm actually using to the degrees, right? So 1945 will mean that if you're born maybe like 1944, 1943, these energies of Pluto being in Virgo to Libra, Virgo heading to Libra, meaning that it's more Virgo energy, would also rub off on you, you get me? But in a cusp sense. You get, a cusp means a border between two constellations. So you still borrow from that one's energy in front of you while having the one where you are currently at. Or borrow from the one behind you while having the one you're currently just entered into. So now, every generation has their consumption and behavior. Why do they call us Generation Z, Generation Y, Generation X? Why? Because our Pluto, which can also be referred to as the way I explain Pluto when I read natal charts is this: your higher self, your intuitive voice, that unconscious. Pluto is the unconscious mind. Unconscious. Yes, we have the conscious mind, we have the subconscious mind, and we have the unconscious mind. All ranging from the level of consciousness down to unconsciousness. There's conscious information and there's unconscious information. Conscious information is the information you logically came about. Subconscious information is information that you intuitively came about, or you subconsciously came about through your reiterative patterns that you have created in your mind consciously. And then unconscious information is information that comes to you. You don't know how the hell that thing came to you because that comes from your Pluto. For example, my Pluto right now is in Sag. Generation Z have their Pluto in Sag. Yeah, I'm a Generation Z. And I'll explain how. Meaning that the kind of intuitive knowledge you get, or rather the higher self, I like to say Pluto as your higher self. Pluto is that inner guidance that tells you what to do. It's this voice you can't control. Is your subconscious instinct. Your unconscious instinct. I mistake these words. You can be walking down the street now and something will just tell you, don't walk to that left, go to the right. Yeah, who the fuck is talking to me? I'm the one talking to you. Who the fuck say that shit? It's you! Because your higher self is in you. But enough rhymes. Now, we have the baby bloomer generation, which is Generation B or Generation Y, whatever you want to call it. This was from 1945 to 1960. Like I said, 15 years is what it takes for Pluto to shift from one constellation to another constellation. Pluto determines the generations. Uranus determines the uniquenesses. Uranus shifts every 2.5 constellations that Pluto moves. Every one constellation that Pluto moves, Uranus moves 2.5. Meaning that if it took 15 years for Pluto to shift from Virgo, from 15 degrees Virgo to 15 degrees Libra, it's going to take 2.5 times that amount for Neptune, for Uranus. Meaning that if Uranus was in Virgo with Pluto, then it took 15 years for Pluto to move to from 15 degrees Virgo to 15 degrees Libra. Uranus, which started at 15 degrees Virgo with Pluto, will now be at Virgo with 6, 7, 8. Uranus will now be at late Scorpio or early Sagittarius. Are you feeling me? For every one constellation Pluto moves, every 30 degrees Pluto moves, Uranus moves about, let me say, approximately like 75 degrees across the 360 degree, across the solar system. Deep shit. So that means it takes Pluto about 15 times 12 is what? It takes Pluto about, do the math, I don't know, I'm not in my math mode now. What 15 times 12 is 100, 200? It takes Pluto that amount of time to go round the sun. This shit is deep. Everything plays attention to our characteristics. I posted a picture on my story the other time talking about unconscious information and conscious information energy flow. Everything as within, so without, as above, so below. This is why it's important to understand Hermeticism, or rather the Hermetic principles. But I don't want to complicate it. Let me do what I'm here to do regardless. If you are born in Generation X, this means you came here from 1970 to 1985. Now, Generation Y is 1982 to 1996. Also referred to as millennials or some shit like that, right? Millennials. But I'm just paying attention to that, the identity according to the planetary movements. If astrology is not explaining shit to me, I don't want to know. Don't tell me, don't bring no doctor or scientist. Give me astrology, because that's facts. So boom. Generation Y 1982 to 1996. Now Generation Z is 1997 to 2012. So that means that if you have a child that is born now, if you had a child that's born between 2012 to 2025, no wonder 2020. If you have a child that's born between 2012 to 2025, around 2027, thereabout, right? That's 15 years Pluto. That's Pluto in another constellation. And I'll explain the constellations with their characteristics in a second. If you have a child that's born in that period of time, that is Generation Alpha, the new age. That's why they say the new age movement, the new age. Are you paying attention to the facts behind these figures, the facts behind these things you hear? This is some deep shit, and I kid you or not. Pay attention to what I'm saying, because I'm speaking real shit. Real shit. Share this video. If you haven't liked it yet, like this damn shit. Share it. This shit is serious. This shit is freaking serious. So now, so if you have a child that was born 2012 to now, watch out for that child. The media is planning so heavily to distract these children because they have special characteristics. But I will tell you, let me make my point clear. Now, every generation has their consumptions and their behaviors. Now, if you are born in the Generation B, okay, which is the baby bloomers, Generation B or Generation Y, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Basically, if you're, no offense to my Generation B people here, I don't, I'm not here to segregate. First things first, I'm here to understand why there is they call in generations. I'm here to understand why. What's the difference? There's a difference between all of us. Physically, we look the same, but there's to every man has a purpose and reason, right? So you need to find that out astrologically. So I'll be telling people, get Natal readings or learn astrology. I'm not just doing this shit for my pocket. I'm doing, yeah, it's what I can do. But then, like, equip yourself to understand astrology at least. This shit is the truth. That's why your Bible told you astrology is the devil. What the fuck? This, everything is reversed. God damn, I feel super. Thank you, Spirit. So with that being said, now, the consumption characteristic of the bloomers, Generation B, is ideology. The way they behave is revolutionaries, collective type people. Generation X, their consumption habits, Generation X being Pluto in Libra. Once again, Generation Y have their Pluto going from Virgo to Libra. Right? Start dominantly in Virgo, shifting into Libra. Generation X have their Pluto dominantly in Libra, shifting into Scorpio. Generation Y have their Pluto dominantly in Scorpio, shifting into Sagittarius. And Generation Z have their Pluto in Sagittarius, shifting into Capricorn. Then this new Alpha generation is Capricorn to Aquarius. If you are born 2013 to 2019. And I'll explain the meanings behind these constellations. Now, Generation B that has Pluto in dominantly Virgo, that explains the consumption. They like ideology. They like to know factual things. They are revolutionaries. They are collectivists because they are of service. They like being of service to each other. It's more of service, facts, figures, family, those type things. Service, work, service, collectiveness. Boom, I shift. Generation X, they are more about, now we're shifting more into Libra. From Libra, now we're in Libra, from the trans between Libra to Scorpio. Generation X are more, but it's dominantly Libra. They are more, their consumption is based upon status, luxury, brands, cars, and their behaviors are competitive as well as materialistic. Now, Generation Y. Generation X is 1970 to 1985, like I said. Generation Y, their consumption behavior is more based upon experience, festivals, traveling, due to the fact that they are Scorpio shifting to Sagittarius. And their behavior is more questioning and have a sense of self-orientation. Inner reflection, Scorpio type energy. On the other hand, Libras, Generation X Libras has a lot to do with things which involve relating, the external environment, relating between people. So this is how we have things like luxury, brands, competitive nature, materialism, because it deals more with people who came to learn how to associate and relate, like in a, because 1970 to 1985, how do your parents used to act? But I'm gonna get to that. Now, if you were born from 1970 to 1985, you're transiting Libra to Scorpio. So a lot of people are still in Scorpio at this point. Scorpio is the reason why we have a lot of people being so scared, so worried, always wanting to know what your parents are, that always want to know your business. They always want to know what you're up to. This is the freaking reason why. This is the reason why your grandparents don't act like your parents. There's a big reason. Everything is astrological. Everything is because of Pluto. And Uranus too, which I'll get to. By the way, Generation B have their Uranus in Leo. Generation X have their Uranus in Libra. Generation Y have their Uranus in Capricorn. And Generation Z have their Uranus in Pisces. So if you do the math of what I told you, you're going to understand what I'm saying. So boom, now, Generation Y, their consumption is based upon experiences, festivals, and travels. That's why if you notice, people born in the 1980s to 1996, they were just about parties, traveling, doing this, they were distracted with all that shit. Religion too. But Generation Z, if you were born 1997 to 2012, you have your Pluto in Sagittarius, transiting, going to Capricorn, but dominantly in Sagittarius. You get it, according to my calculation. Now, this makes you unique. Consumption, what you like is uniqueness. You like what you like. Every other thing don't make sense to you. Because we came here, and I'm Generation Z. I was born 98. I'm one of the people who started Gen Z. But as we go further, someone else who was born in 2010 is a Gen Z with a Gen Alpha type mindset. Everything revolves around. We're constantly in a simulation to the past. Hold on. So boom. The behaviors we have are undefined. You can't predict us necessarily. And realistic. Why? Now, I'm not trying to brag, but it's because Pluto is in Sag. Pluto in Sag deals a lot with wisdom. Sagittarius deals with wisdom. So your unconscious information that you be getting without you even is a lot. Wisdom is involved, like telling you, yo, do this, yo, do that. And this applies to those people who chose to wake up to their true self. So me saying this don't mean everybody you see around you, yo, is suddenly just gonna have some. No, man, I know people who are Generation Z, and bro, they've been brainwashed to use that energy about themselves to focus on something different. Pay attention to things like the music entertainment business that is in such a high, is everywhere now, because most people here have their Uranuses somewhere around Aquarius to Pisces. If you're born Generation Z, you have your Uranus Aquarius to Pisces. Pay attention, this is some real shit. Aquarius transiting to Pisces. Why? Aquarius, Uranus in Aquarius means you have a unique, you want to sing, you want to express yourself, you want to speak. Every institution that was created in this day and age, every music business, entertainment, modeling is for a reason, because they know you have a sense of uniqueness. You want to show your uniqueness. So they put that shit for you to make you take it the wrong path. But boom, Generation Y have their Uranus in Capricorn. They were more unique at, from born in 1981 to 1996, they were more unique at, being stable, groundedness, maybe starting businesses, being more business oriented, more mature minded, more serious, more grounded. So it was less stubbornness. They weren't stubborn. But rather it was less exploration. It was more, I am stay to where I am. Capricorn. So you got your parents can say, stay indoors, don't go anywhere. Okay, mama. Yeah. If you were born 1981 to 96, I have an elder brother is 96. I can tell a bit, even though it's a transition. That's what I mean. I can tell. So Generation X, Uranus was in Libra. So if you were born 1970 to 1985, you had a unique sense of relating with other people. Generation B or Y, Uranus was in Leo. So they had a sense of individuality, ideology. I want to learn. I want to do this on my own. No, stay. I'm pretty sure. Check it. That's why they had a lot of wisdom too, because they understood the knowledge of self. So what I'm trying to say with all these things I've said now, think about this shit. Generation A people, listen, if you have a child now, that child will be born in Generation A. Generation A is 2013 to 2029. Right? These people have their Pluto in Capricorn. You know what this means? They don't have fear. The instinct that comes to their mind is instinct that makes them do what they freaking want to do. They're not going to have fear. So if you hear a scientist telling you they won't have fear, that's why they won't have fear. You feel me? They will be so focused on building, creating. Capricorn, that's building. Everything in astrology works from the first house to the 12th house. First house, Aries, fire, creating. Then Libra, then Taurus, valuing what you created. Then Gemini, communicating about and expressing about what you created. Then Cancer, loving what you created and caring about it or something. Then 5th house, Leo, feeling boastful of what you created. Virgo, being of service with what you've created. Libra, being able to reason with people, about what you created. Scorpio, being secretive about what you've created, or being more intuitive and wise, or intuitive about what you've created because you understand that maybe what you've created is something you don't need to necessarily express to most people. It's like more wisdom. Sagittarius, advanced wisdom. You feel me? 10th house, Capricorn, building upon what you have with the wisdom you have. 11th house, Aquarius, speaking what you have because you have a lot of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Your confidence, Aquarius, rebellion. You don't give a damn. I know this thing. I've been in this game for a while. 12th house Pisces. Now you want to teach and help other people because you realize, damn, I just know so much, or damn, I need to help the world, or I need to help, then come back to Aries, if you get my point. So, if you have a child born 2013, from 2012 to now, boom. So those people who are born in 2029, this is why they want to take over the world. They want to just have this one world agenda before 2030. Because those people will have their Pluto in Aquarius. You can't stop them. That is pure rebellion. My kids gonna be purely rebellious. Like what I mean rebellion, I mean you don't give a shit about the matrix. This is why they want to lock your DNA on time. This shit is real. I'm not kidding. So any child who's born now, check it. Have their Uranus, have their Plutos in Capricorn. So their instinct, unconscious information they get is one more about building. These people will be building it. They'll be able to build upon that which we, Pluto Sagittarius Generation Z, have come with wisdom. Generation Z are here with wisdom, a lot of wisdom. So we're passing it down. This is the age of information and building upon that information. But with all this being said, I could go further, but I think I must stop here now. I think I've laid my message across. The difference between generation WXYZ is every 15 years, every time Pluto, which deals with transformation, rebirth. There's a reason why mysticism, there's a reason why that word is there. Goes into a new constellation. The new humans that come into the earth at that time come with a different characteristics. Everything pays reference to the numbers 3, 12, 7, and then there's 12 constellations. It's not going to change because 12 is a perfect number in a cyclical formation, and we live in a cycle. Once again, we live in a never-ending simulation to the end, from the beginning back to the end. With all that being said, fam, you are now multi-dimensionally tuning out, highly vibrationally tuning out. I mean, stay highly vibrational. These outros are getting so funny. But yes, thank you for paying attention to listen to this video to this point. Please share this video. I took my time to research this thing. Go ahead, take this information and do your own research. This video was made from nothing but the heart, and this video's intention is to spread the truth and awareness. I believe that people having this kind of awareness can make us to understand what our kids will be like and why we act the way we act, just in a basic scale as explained by our Uranus and our Pluto respectively. Stay up, stay multidimensional, and I'm out.
Hey, the big man. Listen to the big man.